Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is the absolute worst movie in the series because it doesn't have Michael Myers in it. Is what a lot of people thought of this movie after it was first released. Recently though, it's had something of a critical and fan reappraisal, which ranges all the way from, it's not that bad, all the way to, oh my god, this is the greatest Halloween movie ever! Well, all I can say is this movie's got its work cut out for it if it wants to top Chainsaw Dennis Hopper calling himself the Lord of the Harvest. Come to think of it, you could probably say that about most movies. The original Halloween is considered one of the greatest horror movies of all time, and is also credited with inventing the slasher movie genre, even though it actually didn't, but whatever. However, Halloween director John Carpenter and producer Deborah Hill decided to kill off killer Michael Myers at the end of the second movie, and instead make the series an anthology where every new entry would have a self-contained story, with the only common thread being that it would take place around Halloween. This did not go over well. Fans didn't appreciate that the movie didn't feature Michael Myers, even though the movie's advertising made it clear it would be a whole new story, and it also got mostly negative reviews from critics. Alright, to be fair, this was before they knew what a lot of the later Halloween movies would be like. In recent years, though, the movie's gotten a new lease on life thanks to the internet, and some people now consider it an underappreciated gem. The internet, however, would not be as kind to Halloween Resurrection, and with good reason. That movie sucked. Do not adjust your set. We will now control everything you see and hear. And this really is a Halloween movie, trust us. See, look, it says so right there. Huh, you know, it's rare that a movie looks like its own Atari game adaptation. And even though John Carpenter's producing and doing the music for this movie, don't expect to hear the familiar Halloween theme. You know, all things considered, this intro does do a good job of setting the mood, but it doesn't have the Halloween theme and that isn't a real pumpkin, so it sucks. I guess. The movie's also set in California, so using the logic of the previous movies, that means it was filmed in Illinois. And what the hell, October 23rd isn't Halloween! The title of this movie really is false advertising. I don't know who this guy is, but it's pretty impressive he can run fast enough to stay that far ahead of a car. However, he can't seem to outrun 80s Paul Dano here. Lucky for this guy, John Carpenter's still producing this movie and he's saved by Christine. Yeah, thanks movie, but that still doesn't mean it's Halloween.
4 days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 4 days to Halloween, silver shamrock.
Yeah, I know, you don't need to tell me. Oh, and by the way, get used to that song, because you are gonna hear it a lot in this movie. Huh, I think this gas station attendant just realized he's the black guy in a horror movie. I'm not sure if this counts as a fake scare or not. If that happened to me, I'd probably be pretty freaked out. And holy shit, it's the Headless Horseman! Oh, okay, never mind. This is our main character, Dr. Daniel Chalice, played by Tom Atkins, and his ex-wife is Nancy Loomis from the first Halloween, who somehow managed to age 20 years since then.
This, here, one for you, one for you. What's the matter, don't you like them?
Mom already got us masks.
But even if she hadn't, those masks you got us still suck. Oh, and I wasn't kidding about that Silver Shamrock song.
4 days to Halloween.
Turn that down.
Yeah, we just heard that song. So after Chalice finishes giving his kids the $2 masks he got from Walgreens, he gets called to the hospital to see the guy from the intro.
There's not going to be any trouble, is it? I mean, you never know when somebody might be needing help.
They're going to kill us.
I'm no doctor, but I think this guy may have just gone insane from hearing the Silver Shamrock song over and over. But enough of that, we need to see what makes Chalice such a likable main character.
I think I should have married you, Agnes.
Back when harassing coworkers was actually an endearing trait. This guy is so lucky Facebook and Twitter didn't exist in 1982. Alright, time to beat off in the doctor's lounge and hope a nurse walks in. Meanwhile, one of the sharply dressed gentlemen from earlier goes to the hospital to finish off the guy from the beginning. Yeesh. Okay, that death scene managed to still be graphic while not showing any blood. But again, it would have been better if Michael Myers had done it. Oh man, don't tell me a nurse walked in on another doctor jerking off. That's my move. This guy may be an effective assassin, but he clearly doesn't know where the gas goes in his car. Jesus Christ, was that guy's suit made out of dynamite? Normally in an 80s movie, a car would have to roll down a hill to explode like that. Well, at least the fire department got there quickly. Unless this guy's just the world's oldest male stripper. Listen, when the guy's daughter comes by to identify the body, just tell her it was a nose job gone horribly wrong, okay? Dan looks pretty upset. Not only has someone been killed, but he still hasn't finished his Brawny Man costume. And look, movie, just let me know when it's Halloween, okay?
Just tell me what you know, Teddy.
Not much. It's taking a while. I know the sheriff thinks he was on drugs.
That doesn't make any sense. I've seen lots of people on drugs, and man was in complete control. He looked like a businessman.
Yeah, businessmen never do drugs. They may not know why this guy was murdered, but at least Dan started consensually hitting on co-workers. And if you're still upset Michael Myers isn't in this movie, I've got good news. See, there he is. Jason Voorhees, however, does not appear in this movie.
Come on.
What's the matter? Don't you have any Halloween spirit?
No, he's just sick of hearing that song.
Hi,
Hello.
my name's Ellie Grimbridge. One of the nurses told me I could find you here.
Oh, looks like Dan's reputation as an alcoholic finally came in handy. Dan tells Ellie he thinks there's something strange going on with her father's murder. I wonder why he'd possibly think that.
I thought he was crazy, out of his mind. He's hanging onto a Halloween mask. He wouldn't let it go. And what he said was, they're gonna kill us all. And I don't know what the hell is going on.
I mean, it's a Halloween movie, but instead of Michael Myers, it's about masks? That doesn't make any sense. Dan agrees to help Ellie find out who killed her father. Could this be a case of love at first? She's probably grief-stricken enough to sleep with me. Dan and Ellie go to the town where the Halloween mask her father had was manufactured, and I'm not sure, but I think Santa Mira might actually be goblin spelled backwards. And remember when the idea of being under constant surveillance was considered sinister and creepy? That was nice, wasn't it? The factory where the silver shamrock masks are made is owned by a man called Connell Cochran, who is also apparently the overlord of the entire town.
A great man, Connell Cochran. A true genius.
People said he couldn't corner the Halloween market by just making 3 generic-looking masks, but he proved him wrong. And speaking of Troll 2, is that the cast of that movie rolling up right now?
Hey, buddy cup for San Diego. This is my wife, Betty.
Oh, never mind, it's just some extras from a John Waters movie. After Dan finds out Ellie's dad stayed in a motel in Santa Mira a few days before, they decide to get a room there. Alright, time to get to work solving this mystery.
We'll go directly to the factory. We'll
Whoa,
find out
hold on.
exactly
Slow down. It's getting late. I could use a drink.
Listen, I want to find out who killed your dad, but I am also a raging alcoholic. Besides, I think Dan might have another reason for getting a room here.
Where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chalice?
That's a dumb question, Miss Grimbridge.
Yeah, you didn't think Chalice was helping someone he just met out of the goodness of his heart, did you? He knows a girl with daddy issues when he sees one. I don't know about the cameras in Santa Mira. They only seem to be able to see in black and white predator vision. But at least the homeless people are informative.
You happen to know anything about this Cochran?
I got one thing to say. It's the last Halloween for that lousy factory of his. I'm gonna get me about a case and a half of Molotov cocktails. Burn that sumbitch right now.
That is if I don't drink them first. Ooh, easy cheese on bread. This guy's on the Brandon Tenold diet. Unfortunately, bad-mouthing a guy with cameras everywhere proves to be a bad idea.
Decapitation!
Meanwhile, Dan gets back to work trying to get to the bottom of this mystery, and by mystery, I mean Ellie. Ooh, baby, you taste young enough to be my daughter.
I don't believe this commercial. It never stops.
Yeah, it is getting a little annoying, isn't it?
Wait a minute. How old are you?
You're asking that now? Even if Dan isn't doing anything, we do make an important discovery about the Silver Shamrock masks, namely that they all have computer chips in them, so I guess this movie really was ahead of its time. However, the chips are also mini Death Stars. Yeesh, not only are the masks deadly, they also turn their victims into Halloween masks. Okay, seriously though, so far all the death scenes in this movie have actually been pretty damn awesome. Even if they don't have a guy getting suspended with a kitchen knife. Well, another person may have been killed, but I still got laid, so win for me. And in addition to making Halloween masks, apparently Connell Cochran is in charge of sick people?
It's all over, my friends. Just a small accident.
Where are they taking her?
They're taking her to the factory.
Treating an injured person in a place called the factory, huh? Well, nothing suspicious about that. On the plus side, Dan's Brawny Man costume is coming along nicely. Connell Cochran may be evil, but at least he gives everybody a guided tour of his factory to show how his masks are made. Step 1, all the labor is outsourced to China.
I want a mask. Can I have a mask?
Ah, just what I had in mind for you, little buddy.
Whoa.
There you are.
Okay, this isn't actually part of the plot, but if it was revealed that Connell Cochran was really a child molester, I'd buy it. He's the kind of character where even when he's acting friendly and has a big smile on his face, you can still tell there's something sinister going on underneath. Damn, too bad he's not wearing a white William Shatner mask, or maybe then I'd be allowed to think he's a good villain.
Do you know he's one of the richest men in the country? And he got that way selling cheap gags and Halloween masks.
All those poor suckers trying to make it in oil or the tech industry. Now, Halloween masks, that's where the real money is. And call me crazy, but I think something a little shady is going on here.
That's Papa's car.
Trade secrets.
Ah yes, rubber mask makers are known for being highly protective of their advanced technology.
I'm scared. I think we should leave.
Yeah, and do it quick before we have to hear that damn Silver Shamrock song again.
One more day to Halloween.
Damn it. Shit, while Dan was distracted by the Silver Shamrock commercial, Cochran kidnapped Ellie and sent some of his goons after him. Night of the Living Insurance Salesman. Hopefully Dan can make it to the Silver Shamrock factory in time to rescue Ellie. All that beige he's wearing really helps him blend in with his surroundings. Also, what the hell is going on here?
Where's the girl? Where is she?
Yeah, old lady I've never seen before. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's at this point we find out the terrible secret behind Silver Shamrock. That's right, most of the employees are actually robots, so it's like a modern-day factory. Fortunately for Dan, they can be defeated if you hit them directly in their honey mustard reservoir. Dan may have been captured by Connell Cochran, but on the upside, it's finally Halloween. That means we only have to hear the Silver Shamrock jingle 8 more times. At this point, Cochran goes all Bond villain and explains his entire plan to Chalice. Not that I'm complaining, mind you, I've been wondering what the hell is going on.
Stonehenge. We had a time getting it here.
Yeah, unlike Spinal Tap, Cochran makes damn sure his Stonehenge is life-size. So it turns out the rock from Stonehenge has mystical properties, and Cochran is using pieces of it to power the computer chips in the Silver Shamrock masks, which will kill anyone wearing them when they react to a signal given off by the Silver Shamrock commercial on Halloween. That's actually a pretty clever plotline. The mixing of science fiction and fantasy elements is actually kinda interesting, and Cochran's plan being based on ancient Celtic pagan rituals ties in nicely with the holiday the movie's named after. But again, Michael Myers didn't come up with this plan, so... And it wouldn't be an evil villain reveal without a little demonstration.
You know, I still can't figure out why they won't take my orders for next year.
Maybe they're not going to have Halloween next year.
Yeah, they're gonna wait until 1988 and just bring Michael Myers back. And now it's time for the most famous part of the movie. And no, I'm not talking about the Silver Shamrock theme. Yeah, this was back when horror movies weren't afraid to kill kids. And just why do the masks cause people to spew bugs and snakes? 'Cause Stonehenge, that's why. Whatever, it's another memorable death scene in a movie full of memorable death scenes. I don't care if it doesn't come with a science lesson. Cochran then reveals that people are wearing his masks all over the country, and the same thing will happen to them on Halloween night. Well, I don't see any Canadian cities listed here, so I guess we're fine.
I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever. A joke on the children.
Even though Connell Cochran isn't as popular as Michael Myers, there is one thing he's better at: speechifying.
You don't really know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting in our houses of wattles and clay. The barriers would be down, you see, between the real and the unreal, and the dead might be looking in to sit by our fires of turf. Halloween, the festival of Samhain. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago, and the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children.
I gotta admit, that might be the greatest villain speech that essentially just boils down to, "It's just a prank, brah," ever put on film. Cochran may be evil, but at least he leaves Dan with a good movie to watch. Unfortunately, Cochran doesn't realize that leaving someone alone to die is just a guarantee they're going to escape. But how is Dan gonna get out of there without Cochran seeing him? Well, that was lucky. And listen, Ellie, before I rescue you, it just occurs to me you never actually told me how old you are. If this were a Metal Gear Solid game, Dan could escape by just putting one of those boxes over him. But he has a pretty good plan of his own. Okay, nothing to see here, just a bunch of masks moving by themselves. Alright, time to try downloading a JPEG. That ought to overload Cochran's computers. Or just play the Silver Shamrock song again. That should at least annoy them to death. I also love Cochran's reaction here. "You may have killed my robots, Daniel, but I'm still going to kill all your children, which means I win." And I'm not exactly sure what's happening here, but I think they might be summoning the villain from a Ghostbusters movie. Okay, so they killed Cochran, but they still gotta stop that Silver Shamrock commercial. What the hell? You mean Ellie's actually a robot? So, wait, was she a robot the whole time? Or did Cochran replace her with one after he captured her? If so, why the hell did she help Dan escape and destroy the Silver Shamrock factory? Why did she wait to try and kill him now? You know what? The movie doesn't answer any of these questions, and honestly, it doesn't really matter. The important thing is we get another awesome death scene when Dan goes all Ian Holm from Alien on her ass. Decapitation. So after Dan defeats the robot, he... So after Dan defeats the robot, he... So are they done? Okay. So after Dan defeats the robot, he calls the TV stations to try and stop the Silver Shamrock commercial. Not because it'll kill children, he just doesn't want to hear that song again.
Take off the third channel, it's still running. Stop it. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Yeah, no resolution for you. Not only is this movie not afraid to kill children, it's not afraid to kill all the children. Oh, and as a final riff, Dick Warlock is probably the greatest porn star name not used by an actual porn star. Like I said at the beginning, Halloween 3 received a negative reception from both critics and fans of the first two movies when it was released, and it's often thought to be a box office bomb, even though it actually made several times its budget back. But people made it clear they didn't like the anthology concept, so in 1988, Halloween 4 brought back Michael Myers, and both fans and critics never had a problem with a Halloween movie ever again. Looking back on it now, I can't help but wonder what the series could have been like if they had stuck with the anthology format. The movie isn't a masterpiece by any means. The plot has a lot of holes and things that don't really make sense, but it's still a solid little horror movie, and if it had just been called Season of the Witch, people probably would have reacted more positively to it. Halloween 3 may not be the best of the Halloween series, but it definitely isn't the worst. And if you don't believe me, remember there's a movie where Michael Myers gets his ass kicked by Busta Rhymes.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Say what you want about Halloween 3, but at least Connell Cochran isn't defeated by getting kicked in the nuts by Curtis Blow. But even ignoring that, making the Halloween series into an anthology is actually a really cool idea. Even if you didn't like this movie, you could rest assured that the next one would give you something different. Rather than being about a single killer, the series would have instead become a celebration of the holiday itself, which would have helped set it apart from other horror movie series. But no, instead they just decided to keep doing the same Michael Myers stories over and over and over again. And apparently again? Why the hell is Jamie Lee Curtis back? Didn't she die at the beginning of... fuck it, whatever. Oh well, I guess if there's one thing this movie and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 have taught us, it's that if you want to have a successful horror series, never ever try something different. Well, that's all for now. Happy Halloween, everybody!
Happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.
And happy Halloween.